Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Our guest has joined us now. She's going to be making her debut. I'm hoping it's a very good one indeed. We have Adeze Michael, sports analyst in the opinion.
Good morning. It's good to be here. Been watching you guys for years now. I'm right here in the studio. I feel quite excited. Yeah.
I know. Fantastic. It's great to have you on the show again. And of course, the topical issue has to be the Super Eagles of Nigeria. First of all, let's get your thoughts on those two games. It's generated quite the reaction. Nigerians, in fact, are not happy.
Well, I think football generally, as a coach, you're as good as your last result. So, Coach Genotro came in with this fine, calm disposition when he took up that job in 2016. I think he's been a bit lucky because we've not had managers recently that have occupied that seat for 4 years and counting. By August next year, it's going to be 5 years. And a lot of Nigerians are asking, what has he brought to the table? Apart from winning the bronze medal in 2019, AFCON right there. So I think this is what it is. Nigeria is a very passionate people when it comes to football. Everyone has their own opinion. Everybody is a coach. But that outing at Samuel Gbomudia Stadium is still unacceptable. So many persons didn't sleep. So many persons didn't eat. Just how passionate people are. And the second leg, it was always going to be difficult because they're no longer playing at home. And hostilities and every other thing that goes with football and all that will pop up.
Come into play,
and the second leg, Ross showed some stubborn part of his game, right? Fielding out Maduka Okoye again, who shipped him 4 goals. Nigerians were like, can't you drop him? Can't you? You had Akpeyi on the bench, who has more experience, who is a very great goalkeeper right then, PSL. And then he started with Akpoguma again, who was culpable in the first 2 goals. I mean, people were asking questions. Why are you this stubborn? Okay, and unfortunately, we didn't have Victor Osimhen. But the pressure is mounting on him already to, maybe he could get sacked or something, which is not what some of us want. I felt he was building a team. But it looks tactically inept right now. Game management quite poor. Okay, sometimes we sit at home, we read the game better than him. Sometimes he's supposed to make some substitutions, he doesn't do that.
Okay, the difference is, I mean, when you're watching, when you're seeing it from outside, you see everything. The coach may not be able to see everything, and there's some coaches, they know the players that can play for them. I mean, they just love some players that they feel, okay, I have to have this player at every game. I think that's what Gennett Rowe is trying to do. He feels what he's doing it's actually okay. And I want to raise that you raise a point that you want him to continue because he's building a team. How long does it take a coach to actually build a team? Like, he's been doing that for 4 years. By now, we should have a first 11, or what do you think?
Oh, yeah, that first 11 part, let me take us to 3 Lions of England, where we used to have the likes of Jesse Lingard. We used to have the likes of, I can't really recall some midfielders, but, international duties go with players that are on form. Okay, these days we have Mason Mount, we have Declan Rice, we have Jaglieri. So as these players are developing and are on form, you call them in. Yes, we should have a first 11, but you can never guarantee. They could get injured, other things could happen and all that. But by now, we should have had a spine of the team, which that is what he's trying to do. Okay?
Which is what he's
trying to do. How long is it going to take him to have the spine of the team?
Unfortunately, Nigerians are not patient people. I recall the Algerian national team. It took them about 27 or 28 years to win the title again after 1990. But right now, football has changed. Everybody wants to win.
It's very competitive
Of course, let's not also forget that as you are planning your Nigeria, your Super Eagles, your star-studded, other teams too are planning. They are competing. They want to win too. So let's be very realistic about it. He doesn't have much time on his hands, and talks around is already saying that he's going to get sacked, which I think is not really going to be a good one because it's a process to build, a team. It's quite a process.
And it's an ongoing process as well. And talking about Gennett Rowe being under pressure, the sports minister has come out to have a few things to say about his position. He went on social media to, say certain things. And there you go. It says the performance of the Super Eagles from the last 2 matches calls to question the suitability and competence of technical advisor Gennett Rowe. Nigerian football deserves better. The needful will be done. Apologies to all football lovers. This is open to interpretation. So let's get yours.
Well, everybody's calling for his, coach, but this is the minister for sports. Is he working for NFF? He can with influence, right? But this should be coming from probably the locals, of course, the Amaju Pinnick of this world, the Shehu Dikos. They are the people that actually recruited him. So maybe he's just saying his mind. And although a couple of, before he signed the contract, talking about Sunday Dara, he came out and said that he doesn't care who is in charge. He just wants someone that is, capable of leading the Super Eagles to the next level. But as it stands now, the coaching job is result-oriented. But it's unfortunate that a game or 2 games should have gotten at least 4 points.
4 points, yeah. That was what he said, yeah.
And bad year for Coach Kenotro. Bad year for him. He's not won any game since 2020. And he also showed us that the Super Eagles, can find the back of the net when they went, 4 goals up. But defensively, that is where it's like. Now, some of us will want Ro to come back home. The whole talks about the razzmatazz of the Oyibo people. No disrespect to them. We've seen some of these defenders. I tell you one thing, we have players in the league that can come into that team and make a statement.
Yeah. I know that has been like a debate for a long time. But if you check Genendro, when he came, he was trying to, he got some players actually into the senior national team. But Nigerian league, for instance, so you don't have to blame him. They've not been active. So he feels, okay, these guys haven't been playing football. Why would I want to bring them in? Maybe if he had brought in some 2 or 3 home-based players, everyone keeps saying, okay, is this now a training ground?
On what basis?
On what basis? Exactly, because you haven't seen them play for since March. They haven't kicked a ball.
Pandemic, he's shown us countless times. He comes out to press conferences. I'm not a fan of the Nigerian players because each time I call them, the next few months are going to Europe. But he has been, Ike Chukwueze has been with the Eagles team for the past 5 years, going to 6 years now. Nobody has called him. He's still playing his trade with Heartland Football Club. He also brought in Ifeanyi Anemena, the Enyimba player. He's still playing these days with Rivers United. So it's about what he wants. Okay, and that is why the second contract says that he should come back home and go around our leagues, develop our leagues, pick 1 or 2, 3 players.
But is he really the one to develop the league? Because I feel that if your league is attractive enough, you don't have a choice. I mean, if you see a player, if you see a player playing in week out, scoring goals or defending well, or maybe the goalkeeper and everything, you don't have a choice. I believe the media will go ahead and you have to call up this player. We've done it before in the past, right? Let's Stephen Keshin, God rest his soul. I mean, we saw what he did with the home-based players. At that time, there was consistency. We could tune into DSTV, and you see Nigerian League there. So it was easier for those coaches who use them. But now you have to travel and go to the stadium to see these games.
That is why he has scouts.
So it's difficult. Like the scouting, I mean, we know the scout, right? It's based in London, right?
Yeah, but the coach can be on ground and travel to a few venues as well. Nothing stops him from doing that.
Is that not more difficult? What if you have the video clips of these players? It's easier for you to do that.
Cecilia, you watch national team managers travel in Europe to go watch their players in their clubs as well. It's nothing new. So don't make it look like
can we start
doing that is too much. It's not too much to ask from the coach.
Maybe when the league starts. Okay.
Exactly. Now we'll just wait for the league to start.
We'll wait for the league to start, the consistency, and see if we can get
players.
Although we are not, it's not yet totally over for the Super Eagles.
Yeah, we know that, it's just because of the results.
If we had gotten the points we wanted, it would have been time to rest the Oyibo exports and now look for how your local players will come on board and also have a bite at the cherry. But unfortunately, we are still going to play Benin Republic, we are still going to play Lesotho, and then we are back to the days of if calculator. I thought we are, gone past
we had actually gone past that recently. Welcome.
Not a good time.
But I mean, it's not time for calculator yet. I mean, we are topping the group with 8 points. The second is actually on 7 points,
the
right?
The writing is on the wall. It's starting to look on the wall now.
Benin Republic are breathing down on Super
Eagles. Are you guys actually saying that we can't really beat? I know Benin Republic are bigger than Sierra Leone. Come on, those guys. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make excuses for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but then that pitch that they played on. I mean, when I started watching the game, I mean, I told them I had migraine. I mean, I couldn't focus because camera and all that and everything. So I won't judge the Super Eagles by that game. I keep saying I won't judge, but the one they played in Benin, I will judge them by that. That was a mistake. I mean, they relapsed, they got tired and everything. But if you take a look at the logistics problems they faced, I know they will say they're professional players, but how many players really will go through a whole lot of stress coming into the country and having to maybe train for 2 training sessions, not even 1.5, that you have your full crop of players together. It's difficult because these are not club players that they know each other and everything. They don't even need to train for 2-3 days. They are national team players. So sometimes you need them for 3 days to be able to fine-tune what you want.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Do you know Nigerians? Do you know why they go hard?
Yeah.
You scored 1, 2, 3, 4
I mean, what
goals.
excuses are you?
If it were a KG affair, you had
you guys
had
will
the
not
rhythm,
understand.
you had the drive, you had the passion. I mean, Super Eagles for once were clinical in front of goal.
Yeah.
We saw Victor Osimhen doing what he knows how to do. Look at those long-range efforts from Alex Iwobi. And of course, Samuel Chukwueze, who loves the North.
And they went to sleep in the
And they
second
went to
half.
sleep.
They
So
got
I don't think it
complacent.
boiled down to
That's got
fatigue.
nothing
No,
to
they
do
got
with-
tired.
They got complacent, Cecilia. What tiredness, please.
Okay,
I think
all right.
that's what
They got complacent.
because
4-0 up and they
I think the
they
injury
took the leg
to I think
off the pedal.
I think the injury to
Cecilia, let's-
Victor Osimhen, you know, the other players were like, okay, Victor Osimhen is out, so let's be careful not to get injured.
So-
Maybe that's why they didn't tackle her.
Come
But
on,
giving the
Cecilia.
ball away, okay, I
Come
don't
on,
know.
Cecilia, don't be
Okay.
like that. Let's bring in the viewers into the
Yes.
conversation as well. So you've seen the tweets coming from the sports minister, essentially questioning the competency of Gennaro and suggesting that the needful will be done. We don't know what that needful is, so you can talk to us. What are your thoughts on the minister's comments on the Super Eagles technical advice? You can talk to us, send your tweets to channels_sports, and we will take them. Your messages are coming in already, so I'll just go ahead with the couple I have now. Bosun Ogunfora, you're saying there is no need to be sentimental about Raw. He's a good coach. A good coach is as good as his last match, and from every indication, the Super Eagles is on the downward trajectory. I need a breath of fresh air. And
Okay.
it's time for Raw to take a bow and leave.
All right. HJ says, okay.
You're smiling.
So you want to react to that one?
Well, I'm one of those people that actually, I'm a supporter of Coach Kenotro. Like, I recall before he came on board, we found life very difficult to go to AFCON.
Yeah,
Twice.
missed it twice. In a row.
There was
Back to back.
What was the
Back
reason
to
for
back.
that?
Well, some
It's
persons will say it's not.
Exactly, it's not the coach
out on
fault.
the football, like
Exactly.
It's administratively.
Thank you.
No, come on, guys.
Logistics are not.
Ball stops at the bulk of the
we don't
table.
we don't
If
need to
Nigeria
go
couldn't
into what
qualify
happened in
for
the
the
back-to-back,
AFCON.
right? Let's not go into that time.
No, we can go into it if
We'll
you
have a
want.
date to discuss that.
It's not
Continue.
The box stops at the table
Continue.
of the coach.
We'll have a date to
What do you
discuss
mean?
that. Continue.
Another of his highlights, I think, what he's done is been able to comb the nook and crannies of Europe to discover players we didn't know existed. But
Diaspora.
it's not enough anymore. We need to start
Okay.
seeing results.
And they must be good
The
enough.
pressure is on.
Pressure
Okay.
is on
The pressure
indeed.
is on.
More tweets are coming from our viewers. Cecilia, okay, I've got one from Ilori Oladapo Mayowa. This is specifically to you. Cecilia says, Cecilia, are you saying Senegal, Algeria, and other countries did not bring players from Europe? Why is it that only Nigeria is giving excuses of flight fatigue? These are countries that are serious. They've qualified already, Senegal, Algeria. So you're saying you're giving excuses.
I'm just saying these are some of the factors and all that, because I listened to the coach and he complained about it. I mean, we
like
listened to him.
excuses.
That was what he said. I'm like trying to quote him. Maybe that's the reason. One of the reasons. Okay, let me take
Anyways.
this one coming from HJ. HJ says, maybe we see the game better from home. It's high time we get Raw a screen to see the whole picture. Also, our players are not consistent in their club sides.
Is that true? Players not consistent?
Well, no, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
The bulk of players we have actually
Very
have
consistent, playing
taken
well.
responsibility in their club side. Paul Onuachu, for once, is the highest goal scorer right now in Europe, whether we like it or not, with his club Genk. And of course, Samuel Chukwueze has been very instrumental to Unai Emery's side. Then talking about Starboy himself, he just got off to a perfect header before traveling for Napoli, before coming down. So if you look at Kelechi Iheanacho, is the king of Europa League. So if you look at the players we have now, I feel, they're on form currently. But my worry is just that back line. They are not solid as we expect them. Under, with Leganes, Chidozie Awazim and Kenneth Omori, they went on relegation. And they shipped in a lot of goals. So Shehu Abdullahi, no disrespect, but I don't think these guys have quality enough to, marshal that back line for the Super Eagles. That is why some of us are saying the solution to the goalkeeping conundrum, and of course that back line could be in the MPFL.
Okay, let MPFL start. MPFL needs to start. Hopefully they start in the time they said they're going to start, and of course by March we should have some players playing and maybe some new ones. I'll just take two more tweets and then because we need to go on. Okay, all right, Timmy says, okay, Raw actually needs to go. It's obvious that tactically, he can't take the team forward. We can't have this number of good players and still struggling with countries like Sierra Leone. And she too says the sports minister shouldn't be tweeting stuff like that. What what are the NFF doing? Why would the minister why is the minister doing the board's job? Raw is not good enough. He should step aside.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I think we need to stop there. There's so many comments.
Yeah. Well, let's just take a couple more before we move on to what's going on with Wilfred Ndidi. Ahmed, you're saying the Super Eagles players are not playing at their best. You also have Ola Taiwola. You're saying we have good players, but a bad manager. Who cannot read a football match? Let the manager be replaced. There's so many more that we cannot afford.
Maybe before we leave the studio, we'll take more of it. But then we have to move on from the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Ndidi returns to training, right?
It's a good one. Missed, right?
Yeah. Was he greatly missed? No, I don't think so.
Right. We have 3 midfielders in 2 games back.
Okay, for the Super Eagles.
Yeah, for Super Eagles, Leicester.
Of course. Sometimes we're going to carry table cannot bear that responsibility of doing the dirty job. So if we had although, the disadvantage is that when you have 2 defensive-minded midfielders, it can, hinder your progress going forward or trying to create chances.
But he's the best when it comes to
the tackles,
that position.
Of course.
Arguably top 5 in the world as a defensive midfielder. And we saw how exposed the Nigerian defense was, especially in the second half against Sierra Leone, and that's why they ended up conceding 4. So him playing that game perhaps would have shot things up a bit.
Of course, I agree with you 100% because he's the most consistent Super Eagles export we have currently, week in, week out, apart from the injury, and usually not injury prone. Some of us are quite surprised. These days, indeed, he's getting injured. But I think maybe by March next year, we should have him, doing the dirty job, putting in those tackles for the Super Eagles.
Hopefully, because I can't wait.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, now, Super Eagles can rest now. Let's quickly talk about maintenance, right? Before we go to NWFL. Or should we do NWFL?
Let's go to NWFL.
Okay, Nigerian Women's League. That's where we're going to now. Now, Nigerian Women's League, what's the story? Now, we discovered that, look, the deadline for club licensing, it's going to be tomorrow, which is Friday. And we have just 3 clubs, 3 that have fully registered. The others said they are in the process of trying. Sunshine Stars, for instance, when I spoke with the manager, he said they're 70% ready. But Edo Queens, FC Robo, and Nasarawa Amazons are the 3 clubs that have actually, completed their club licensing. And club license, of course, on this show, we reel it out to you guys what they need to do, financial statements, registering with CAC, and of course, making sure that, you paid all your players. You have to bring the bank statements and everything. Then your coaching crew, there must be, good coaches. When I mean good coaches, good qualification, not just anybody, CAF licensing and all that. They must have that CAF licensed coaches and everything. You also have women in the technical crew. These are some of the things they need to do. Good training pitch and also good stadium and all that. So 3 clubs. FC Robo, remember, is a private club. 3 out of 16. It's interesting to note that Rivers Angels, yes, Rivers Angels from Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Rivers Angels have not done that. Interesting, right? Then you also have Delta Queens. Yes, Delta Queens, as big as Delta Queens, they haven't done that. You also have Bayelsa. I'm calling this state because they're rich oil big state, and you don't expect these. And these are perennial champions when it comes to the Women's League.
Well, I think, first of all, I have to commend the Aisha Falode for striving so hard, trying to make our Women's League a brand, selling it to the world. I think I must commend her for that. But there are several factors that are actually pushing everything down. We know how to, roll out plans and give orders and instruction, but implementation remains our Achilles heel. Now, if you look at, let's go to the male counterpart, the MPFL, the same club licensing issue. How many clubs already? I'm hearing about 4 of them out of 20. It tells you that a lot of things must be done. But if you look at the economic climate we have right now, clubs are struggling. We have a situations where clubs, some of the players are owed salaries and all that. So I'm sure they will be working hard to meet the deadline. But even if they don't, maybe
tomorrow is the deadline. Rivers Angels, Rivers Angels struggling. FC Robo have done that privately owned club.
The problem is the government right now.
Exactly.
Sometimes the government are the problem right now. Some of them are trying to
majority of the clubs.
Yeah, which is not good for us. Maybe that's a story for another day.
It's actually good because at the end of the day, if FC Robo can actually do something, and you're saying the government who has the money cannot finance a club. Okay, you know what? We need to go on the break now. The discussions will obviously continue because we'll be monitoring how many clubs will be able to meet the deadline. It's tomorrow, and the league is supposed to start December 9th. If they don't meet it, even if it's 4 or 5 teams, then the league may start or may not start. Need to go on the break now. After this, we'll continue with our discussion, especially on Barcelona, and also get to read some tweets if we have the time. Welcome back. Okay, time to talk about Barcelona and Messi and what's actually happening in that club. Something really interesting coming from Victor Font this morning.
Victor Font is the front runner for the Barcelona presidential election. And interestingly, this guy is still hoping and still dreaming and saying Lionel Messi staying at Barcelona is very critical to the future. I'd like you to just listen to what Victor Font has to say, his plans for Barcelona. Then we'll get the thoughts of our studio guests.
When you are lucky enough to have the best player in the world in your team, you need to retain that talent, right? I mean, it's not that if Messi goes to a competitor, we would find an alternative easily. Actually, there would be no alternative to Messi, right? That's why retaining him in the short term is critical. But I would say that beyond ensuring that Messi can finish his career at FC Barcelona, for us, the association between Messi and Barca, between Barca and Messi, is a strategic relationship. And we want to make sure that we create the right conditions for Messi to play a role in the club even after he retires. And we decided some years ago that the best person to help us build that organization was Xavi. And the objective is to have Xavi as general manager of that sports organization. That's his principal role, because what I told Xavi 5 years ago is that we cannot afford another Pep Guardiola case, where, you know, Pep coached the club or the first team very successfully for a few years, but then he moved on and he went to the competition. And I said, for the next 10 years, we need to have Xavi in the club. And that's why it is important that he takes a general manager role. And the intention, obviously, is that other than being general manager, whenever the club needs him to be coach of the first team, that he becomes the coach of the first team as well.
Okay, Barcelona trying to build a culture. That was the initial plans until they brought a coach who kind of maybe scuttled a little bit of their plans. I don't understand it. But he talked about Xavi here. I mean, he wants Messi is indispensable. That's a player that he will not just retire at the club, but then he's going to play a crucial role. And for them to achieve that, they need someone like Xavi to become manager of the club. And of course, then they can grow from there. What do you make of all
They
this?
called up Xavi to get the job, okay? But the young man said, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And he knows anyone taking the Barca job right now is going to suffer. Yeah. Ronald Koeman is feeling the heat.
Yeah.
You know, when the clubs don't get it right administratively, when you come down, it affects what goes on the field of play, whether we like it or not.
True.
For Lionel Messi, he likes the club. This is a club that has made him and he has made the club. There's been a perfect marriage for the past 20 years, right?
It's a rocky marriage now, though.
Yeah, it's rocked due to the fact that Barcelona have ditched their tradition. They've ditched their philosophy of producing players from the academy. You see Barcelona jostling for players with assembling expensive court. I could go on and on. They've spent over £1 billion looking for stars to, you know, that quick fix that will give them Champions League. And they forgot their tradition. That is where they are. Ousmane Dembélé of this world, Antoine Griezmann, Philippe Coutinho, these guys came at a very hefty price. But then they've not been able to say, they've not, you know, blended well with Lionel Messi. So it's a huge problem. I think Victor Font has spoken well. Looks like someone that wants to take Barca to where, you know, they belong. But it's going to take time. It's going to take a process because a lot of things has really gone wrong. For Lionel Messi, it could just take 1 or 2 phone calls for Guardiola to, you know, convince him. Man City, they do have the money to bankroll, but his wages right now is quite expensive. £1 million every week, can they pay? That's the big question.
Yeah, perhaps Man City, you'd say, should be able to afford that. But fingers crossed, as it stands, Lionel Messi is still going to leave Barcelona at the end of the season. Perhaps he'll change his mind before it's all over. After all, there's no longer Bartomeu in charge of that club, and there's going to be a new president next year as well. All right, so that's it for the show. We need to look at the papers. But before the papers, so many tweets, the reactions, understandable because of, the results against Sierra Leone. Idesukwa, I have your message here. You're saying a team that was 4 goals up and went on to concede 4 clearly has a problem in the defense. Raw should work on the defense and the team will be fine. Ogufora Abosun, you're saying let's do the needful now before we start bringing our calculators. The Benin side can be very handful and might shock Nigeria. Uchenna Okoro, you're one of the few supporting Ghana Raw. You're saying give Raw a chance. A poor result is not enough to sack a coach. It's COVID-19 season. I wonder what COVID has to do with that.
And Bakare Olamide said, we need to overhaul the team itself beyond the coaching crew. Football-wise, I think we have lost it. I just hope the NFF can do something to bring back the glorious days of the Super Eagles. And Ibrahim Suleiman says, well, Raw has done his possible best for the Super Eagles. I think the players are not serious, not the coach. If NFF change coach, believe me, there is no change.
Oh,
okay.
Dear. Okay. Someone, Collins, Fabo Kuma, it says, I will not condemn the performance of the Super Eagles abroad due to the poor nature of the pitch. That's what you were trying to say about that second leg match. Cecilia had so many.
Yeah, Godfrey he said, please don't advocate the sack of Raw. He is mature and patient. Nigeria doesn't have the culture of paying foreign coaches' salaries regularly. Besides, he's not yet the disaster we are painting him to be. Leave Raw alone until we get serious. Okay, a team that...
You want to continue?
Okay, Idasuko, a team that... Okay, 4 goes up, okay, yeah. There's so many. Okay, let's go to the papers right now. We just have 2 minutes to leave the studio. Sporting Sun, of course, is a big story. Sporting Sun, the headline here, Raw faces sack. I think this is coming from that sports minister's tweet, or they know something we don't know.
No, it's like I said, interpretation.
Ronaldo offered to Man United and PSG.
No, come on.
Is it the Cristiano Ronaldo that we know?
Come on, guys.
Okay, as Eagles sneak into Abuja midnight, that was their time of their flight, chartered flight. Come on, guys. Deza says he will be back in Super Eagles. Yes, that's another player we need. Eggman, he says Super Eagles too big for Raw. Interesting.
Yeah. Let's
okay.
Let's go to Sporting Life. Let's get this sack stories everywhere. Condition for sack: Nigeria to pay Raw 457.2 million naira. Lawyers studying manager's contract. Technical committee to meet on Friday. That's tomorrow. German's faith hanging in the balance. This sack story.
Wow, I think it's gathering momentum already, but I think they should just give him one more chance. Let me be sentimental a little bit, but sacking him now, we just have...
What do you gain from that?
No, exactly. When you're not doing well, there'll be rumors around you. You're gonna succeed for one. He's been able to survive a couple of times, but I think they should give him one more chance. To see if he can, improve in his tactics, especially.
One more chance.
All right. Then, last but not the least is complete sports. Sport minister hints at Raw sack. Take note of Pogba's form with France. That's according to Didier Deschamps. It's not doing too well with United, but for France, different animal.
Yeah, he's not the only one. Olivier Giroud also doesn't really get minutes at Chelsea, but he's come on board. He's scored the brace. I remember the Juventus player Bernardeschi doesn't really get minutes under Pirlo these days, but very, very solid. So sometimes
the difference between those players, just me and Paul Pogba, is that Paul Pogba gets minutes. Those ones don't get minutes. That's the difference.
He sits on the bench these days.
He's on the bench these days.
Really. Just recently, but he hasn't been performing. That's why he's on the bench.
Inconsistency is another name for Paul Pogba.
True.
Okay.
True.
Like
United offered chances to sign Varane.
Okay.
I don't know where else called. Madrid eager to land David Alaba, rather. Sergio Ramos verbally agrees new Madrid deal.
It's not going anywhere.
Derses, I am still committed to Nigeria. This guy won invite, and that's it.
I was surprised. I felt he was going to get that.
Same here.
Instead of bringing what's his name, Bonaventure, Emmanuel Dennis, we expected Cyril Desas to come up, because I think he's also been great with club Genk. He and Paul Onacho are in the same club. But this is Raw's decision. He got interested in Akpogumas of this world, Zenidi Saisu and the rest of them.
Okay, all right. We're not Super Eagles will continue forever. It's not going to stop, right?
Of course.
Thank you so much, Adeze, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I thought that was a decent debut.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.
I am Taya Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.